This autumn is full of noise, distractions, and trends that seem tempting in the moment, but will ultimately drag down your style. Let's talk about the fashion trends you need to avoid in 2025, because elegance isn't about following everything that comes down the runway. It's about knowing what not to wear. First, avoid anything that screams desperation for attention. The industry is still trying to sell hypersexualized shock value as empowerment, but it reads as try-hard and short-lived. Style with substance has always outlasted overt displays. Second, steer clear of gimmicky viral pieces. Every season, social media picks one accessory or exaggerated silhouette and crowns it as a must-have. But these pieces fade the fastest and leave you looking like a billboard for trends instead of someone with actual taste. Third, be cautious with costumes disguised as fashion. Designers love theatricality, but when everyday style starts to look like cosplay, it loses sophistication. Clothes should elevate you, not turn you into a caricature. Fourth, avoid disposable fast fixes. Micro-trends, cheaply made dupes, and anything that feels like it's designed to be posted once and forgotten. Autumn 2025 is about building a wardrobe that feels intentional, not cluttering it with filler. Finally, resist the urge to blend into the homogeneous aesthetics pushed online. Uniformity might feel safe, but it kills individuality. Real luxury and elegance come from refinement, not replication. This season is about power in restraint, meaning in subtlety, and confidence in saying no to what doesn't serve your long-term image. The biggest trend to embrace is timelessness, and the biggest trend to avoid is anything that makes you look like you're chasing the crowd. Autumn 2025 is also testing people's patience with overbranding. Loud, oversized logos might seem like a shortcut to prestige, but right now they feel more like insecurity on display. Subtlety speaks louder, and the truly wealthy no longer need their labels written in neon lights. Another trap to avoid is the endless layering of clashing aesthetics. Throwing together 10 different core styles, quiet luxury mixed with Y2K, mixed with streetwear, mixed with boho, doesn't make you eclectic, it makes you chaotic. The more you dilute your image with borrowed aesthetics, the less clarity you have in how people perceive you. Then there's the obsession with exaggerated proportions. Oversized can be chic in balance, but drowning yourself in extreme shapes that overwhelm your frame looks less like intentional design and more like you got lost in the fabric. True style is about harmony, not distortion. Also, be careful with color extremes, either too washed out, where everything looks lifeless, or too neon, where nothing feels wearable. Both ends of the spectrum cheapen your presence. Autumn naturally calls for depth, richness, and texture, not tones that look like they belong to a completely different season. And one of the biggest things to avoid this autumn? Dressing with the sole intention of going viral. Fashion isn't meant to be an algorithm trick. The people who stand out in 2025 are those who invest in refinement, not those trying to shock the feed. Trends come and go, but the judgment of how you present yourself lasts. This season, avoid anything that feels hollow, performative, or manufactured to impress strangers online. Instead, build a style narrative that speaks to longevity, culture, and self-respect. Autumn 2025 is a moment to edit, and in editing, you reveal real elegance. Another major trap to avoid this autumn is the obsession with extremes in minimalism. Clean lines and simplicity can be powerful, but when it's taken too far, stripped of all detail, texture, and depth, it stops looking refined and starts looking lifeless. Minimalism without nuance is just emptiness dressed up as style. Also, steer clear of anything overly trend-driven in tailoring. Designers keep pushing exaggerated shoulders, odd cuts, and dramatic reworks of classic suiting, but most of it feels like a parody of timeless menswear and womenswear codes. Instead of elegance, it reads as insecurity, a need to prove relevance through distortion. Another misstep is buying into ironic dressing, fashion that's intentionally ugly, oversized, or unflattering, under the excuse of being subversive. That irony rarely lands, and instead of looking clever, it usually makes people look like they lost control of their wardrobe. In 2025, irony in fashion feels tired and uninspired. You should also avoid chasing uniform aesthetics that erase individuality. Social media has flattened style into a handful of copy-paste templates, and while it feels safe to follow them, It leaves no space for your own taste to shine. Real style is recognized by its point of view, not its ability to blend into everyone else's feed. Finally, don't fall for fashion that prioritizes performance over reality. Whether it's garments meant only to look good in a 5-second video or fabrics that don't breathe, the gap between fantasy and wearability is widening. Autumn 2025 is about depth and presence, not clothing that collapses the moment it leaves the camera frame. Avoiding these traps isn't about rejecting trends altogether. It's about protecting your image from becoming disposable. The most powerful move you can make this season is to resist the noise and stand firm in a style that feels enduring, intentional, and undeniably your own. Another danger this autumn is falling into the trap of artificial luxury shortcuts. The market is full of pieces that try to imitate sophistication through shiny finishes, faux textures, or exaggerated old money signals. But anything that feels forced, like it's screaming wealth rather than whispering it, quickly exposes itself as costume. Real refinement is never loud. There's also the risk of indulging in fashion's obsession with discomfort disguised as glamour. Painful heels, overly stiff materials, or silhouettes that don't move with your body might photograph well, but they strip away confidence the moment you actually wear them. In 2025, confidence is the ultimate currency, and nothing kills it faster than looking uncomfortable. Another trend to avoid is the everything new all the time mentality. Constantly refreshing your closet with disposable seasonal buys not only cheapens your style narrative, but it also shows a lack of identity. When every week is a new persona, people stop believing any of them are real. Autumn is the time to deepen your image, not scatter it. Don't get tricked by exaggerated nostalgia either. Some retro references work beautifully when updated with a modern eye, but clinging too literally to past decades makes you look dated instead of timeless. Fashion history is a tool, not a crutch, and the difference between the two is whether you reinterpret or just copy. And finally, avoid the obsession with aesthetics that exist only for validation. Whether it's chasing a TikTok trend, dressing for strangers on Instagram, or trying to embody someone else's core, it leaves you looking like a character in someone else's story. True power in 2025 comes from refusing to play that game, dressing for yourself, not for the algorithm. This autumn is not about avoiding fashion altogether, it's about avoiding what dilutes your presence. Every trend you reject with intention sharpens your style and elevates your image. Elegance now isn't in abundance, it's in restraint.